This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Welcome to How to Money with Cole and Cole.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
We coach people every day on their money and how to plan for the future.
As financial advisors, we're here to have an honest conversation and educate you on investing, retirement, and everything in between. And we'll throw in some sports talk along the way.
Our mission and goal of this podcast is to improve your money journey and help you create the financial life you deserve.
So let's talk money.
And sports.
Welcome back to How to Money with Cole and Cole. I am Bailey Ashbrook, investment advisor representative, and I am loving the weather.
Oh my goodness.
It's beautiful.
So awesome. Can't wait to get out there on the golf course and kick Cole Jaskie's butt around. But yeah.
Cubs are above 500.
Cubs are above 500. It's a good day. My name's Cole Peterson. I'm investment advisor representative also with Central Financial Group. Go Cubs.
Yep. Cole Jaskie, financial advisor. Yeah. I mean, Kale and I, my little guy, been on the golf course about every night here with this nice weather. So
It's golf
he's
season.
he's gonna be beating me before we know it. So he's my retirement plan.
He kind of went viral before, right?
Yeah. We did have a video. We'll have to share that. I'll have to share that on the business page sometime.
Yeah, there we go. Caleb Westall, producer of How to Money with Cole and Cole, digital designer at Spin Market. And I haven't really been enjoying the weather outside because I've been working on my house inside. So, yeah, it's been exciting. But
Congrats.
New homeowner.
Yeah.
Yep, new homeowner.
When's the baby
fun.
due again?
3 weeks from now. So,
All right.
Oh,
yep.
wow.
Getting there.
We decided to cram it all into a 6-week time period.
Get your sleep
so,
now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was up from 1 to 4 last night with my youngest, so enjoy it.
I'm looking forward
Parent
to
life.
it.
Fortunately,
No,
that
I'm
happens.
excited.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the Masters, so how'd it go, guys? I know you guys, these guys live for golf season. If you know their calendars, they got golf blocked off. They're ready.
Yeah,
Right.
we do.
That's our golf. But yeah, so John Rahm won. I think he was number 2 in the world going into it. So, I mean, it wasn't a super big surprise, but the way he won as far as coming back, because Brooks Koepka had a 4-stroke lead on Saturday, after Saturday's round, right?
Yeah, yep.
Going into Sunday. And yeah, Rahm just stayed steady, and Koepka kind of fell apart, unfortunately.
It was just odd because the weather was super hot for like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the AC turned on and the wind and the rain, and it was like 50. It was like 45 when they were playing on Saturday morning.
wow,
so
I didn't know
so
Yeah,
it
they
went
all
from
had stocking caps and-
88 to 45, and then they got 2.5 inches of rain
that
on
they
Saturday.
played during.
Yeah, they played most of the day.
Did the crowd stay? Does the crowd stay weather?
Well, yeah, I think
Did you see the
I mean,
tree?
yeah,
The
I think
tree
so.
situation.
Yeah, the
that
trees
video
fell.
was crazy.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
a significant amount of weather they got.
And thank God. I mean, I don't know how someone did not get hurt. Like there was people all around that
You heard
tree.
the
If you saw that
announcers, yeah.
video, like that is nuts.
Yeah. And then Tiger made the cut.
And
but
then he withdrew?
He withdrew on Saturday. He ended up with a foot injury of some sort. I didn't hear what happened actually, but yeah, he withdrew. But he was like, it was a big time odds thing that he wasn't going to make the cut. There was a bunch of people betting in Vegas
I feel
against
bad
him.
just watching him though. He's just like
He just does
limping,
not, yeah.
like, and then the cold weather, that didn't help him. It was rainy, and he's just like he gets worse.
I
As
saw
it goes.
someone yesterday who was just like, Tiger, we love you, but you're just stop. Like,
Yeah.
it's time.
Pull Kobe. Go
made
focus on
the
your
cut.
kid's career.
They
He
did
made the
say.
cut.
They did say. I think it was his caddy, Joe LaCava, said if he could take a cart, they got the exemption of cart. He said he'd compete in every tournament still. He
But
says
Tiger
can
said
put-
he's not going to
Yeah,
do it.
he won't do that.
He
Tiger
won't do
won't
it.
like his.
He said the integrity of the PGA Tour is too much that he will never ask for a cart. He'll wait till the senior tour when you're 50, you can go on the senior tour, and then you can use a cart. So.
Who missed the cut was Rory McIlroy. I saw that. So
And he withdrew from the RBC, which is this week, and sounds like he's having some injury issues too. So
oh, okay. I didn't.
Who would
I
have
didn't
known?
hear
Golf,
that part.
golf's so body intensive.
Yeah. Well, the fake swings in the office, all of a sudden everyone at work will be just doing their cuts. And I'm like, oh my gosh, guys.
Cuts. You
I
tell
don't ever
Bailey's
do that
not
in
a
the
golfer.
office,
What do you
That's
call
a
it?
That's
What
a
do you
baseball
call it?
thing. Cuts.
What do you
Taking
call
cuts.
it? Swings.
swings.
There's
There
no
you go.
like, whatever.
All right, we better get into the financial.
Now
talk.
I'm going to drill you for that.
Really quick before we continue into today's topic, and they've already teased it up. It's a really good topic for today. You guys absolutely crushed it last time on listening and sharing the episode with Todd Baker. We've seen way more listeners and viewers than we ever had before. So
much appreciated.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. And do us a favor, keep it up.
Yeah.
Share it with people who would find this interesting. Follow, subscribe, whatever it may be, and give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you listen to. It helps the word helps us get the algorithm and get the word out even more, and so that it can continue to grow. So just thank you guys for all the views that you gave us last time, and just we're excited about it.
Yeah, and it was, partly because Todd was excellent too. We did our job, I think.
Guests.
But yeah, great guests, and thank you, Todd, and thank you to the listeners.
And if you haven't listened to it, go back and listen.
That's
to
what I was just gonna say.
It was. I thought it was our best episode. After I listened to it, I was like, "That's our best episode we've ever done."
We've done a good job of the guests bringing the energy.
I said we were gonna have better guests.
Bring in the energy. You did say that. Bring in the energy. So and you can tell it's contagious.
Yes,
for sure.
I agree. All right. So this episode, we're going to kind of go into what like a quarterly check-in is and check in on your guys' goals. And then we're going to talk about hot questions we're getting right now in reviews. And
so to set it up, right, the beginning of this year, if you go back and listen to the podcast at the beginning of the year, we all set, hey, clients, we always talk about their goals and objectives and what they're trying to do. So we went out on a limb. We all set a couple goals here, so we're going to check back into that, and then we're going to tie it back into how we're having quarterly reviews and quarterly conversations with our clients.
Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. Who should I pick on first?
Yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, agreed.
My goal, I said to lift more and read 15 minutes a day.
You don't look much more buff.
I don't. I was going to say the lifting more, it's getting there in routine. I've had some sick kids, not excuses, but it's in play. It's definitely by the end of the year. Oh, it's just tough with the kids. Man, 3 kids is a lot. And then reading 15 minutes a day, I'm crushing that, but I'm not reading 15 minutes a day, but I'm reading way more chapters a month than I have prior. So
there you go.
Awesome.
Good job.
Improvement,
Good job.
right? Improvement.
yeah.
Round of applause.
I think so many people set goals and they think it's going to happen the first quarter. It's going to happen the first month, and it's like the little things that add up to at the end of the year. Same with your finances.
The hardest part is consistency, just like in
1% better.
Yeah, paying down debt or saving for retirement. It's staying with the plan after you've set it up, and it's the same thing with goals. And we're kind of having a little accountability session where it's like, oh, you got to stay with it.
Speaking of accountability, Cole J.
Oh boy,
Do you remember yours? Do you want me to say them? You stated you wanted to have more control of your schedule, be home by 6 p.m., and then have 3 family meals per week for connection time.
Yeah, I've done a poor job of tracking this.
Should we call Chelsea?
But yeah, no, I was thinking about having her write a little review.
You
I
could call her right now and have her answer live on the show.
Yeah, we should.
Oh my God, she'd be
great.
Yeah, she probably would. She'd probably razz me a little bit or embarrass me. But no, I think I'm putting my Chelsea cap on like I was her, and I think I've done a really good job of getting home by 6. Am I being home versus being present and not working? I've still got to work on that a little bit. But the meal side, I will say, I think we're on pace to have that, but we are going through a kitchen remodel. So it's kind of been chaotic, the meal situation. But we've done a good job of connecting, and our 6-year-old's, he enjoys that time. We always do a high and low. My wife always puts me on somebody, what's your high for the day? What's your low for the day? And Kale's always, oh, mom again. That's what he says every time. Mom.
Yeah.
I love
We
that.
kind of
go
do
through it.
We do a little bit of that. Like, what was the best part of your day so far? Or I guess we don't do the worst part, but we do the best part of our day. But I think even if you do take out, getting around the table or getting somewhere where you're all sitting there eating is awesome.
Putting the phones down, shutting the TV off.
That's the hard part. We're so wired.
Being present, right?
Okay, Cole P, your goals were work out more, sleep better, and then also you and Molly have 1 night a month for a good date night.
Yeah, so I feel like I have been sleeping better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've had a little less on my mind as far as work and kids and everything else. But
got a bunch of good people around you.
Yes. Yeah, you got to hire.
Shout out Bailey.
Thanks.
And team and staff.
And you're doing what you enjoy more. You had a lot on your plate.
Yes. So, and then the workout part, I've done a pretty good job. I don't want to work out more. What does that mean? But you go from 0. It's pretty easy to improve 0 times a week.
When the baseline.
I went for a bike ride last night. I think the weather improving is going to really help me because I hate going to the gym. And on a treadmill, I dread it so bad. So
it's getting outside.
Being able to just get on a bike and just go ride, even with your kids, just go for a walk or anything like that is good for me. regarding date night one time a month. We don't really track it, but we've made a concerted effort to try to make sure that we're spending time just me and Molly. We just did that this last Friday where we went to a concert, just me and Molly. So
what concert was that?
Pitbull.
Sing us a little lyric.
We need Molly here. I don't know my Pitbull music.
Fireball.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, be careful, copyright laws.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, we're at the Pitbull concert. Joseph's watching the other kids, and I get a phone call from Joseph that one of them is not doing so hot about going to bed. So I have to leave the concert to come back in, and I do that, leave to answer the question, and then I come back in. He calls again. I have to leave the concert, and then there's no re-entry. I was out of the concert for the last 20 minutes. I missed the fireball.
Molly's just standing there by herself.
She was
not standing there. I can tell you that. She was dancing her buns off. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was. Anybody has the chance to go see Pitbull, and I've told everybody in this room, he's awesome. He's awesome in concert. Lots of energy. I would
like
say
his music is. So you could see.
Yeah, it was in a 21 and over setting, but I would say like 15, 16-year-olds would be fine. Like he does a little bit of swearing, but it's not inappropriate or anything like that. So
yeah.
But it was
shout out
fun.
Pitbull.
Yeah,
I'm still in my head trying to think of Pitbull songs, and I know so many, but I'm in my head.
Yeah.
How about Caleb? Can't leave him out of here.
I already know he 100% success rate on this goal. Here we go.
His was easily tracked.
I had one goal, so I was going to buy a house, and I checked that box faster than I anticipated. So
that's exciting.
Yeah. So me and Lily are now homeowners.
Congrats.
Awesome.
You got the nursery ready and ready for the baby.
Yes, we do actually, because Lily was very motivated to get the nursery done. So we got it done super quick.
Good for her.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. So we've checked in on our goals. We kind of like clients to check in. Right now we're doing a lot of reviews with clients. What does a quarterly review? What are some things we're looking at, Cole J?
I think just like we're doing here, we're kind of having that accountability check of let's use the example of, client met last year. He had $12,000 of credit card debt. And we're like, hey, by April 1st or whatever it might be, I want to have half that paid down. We're having those conversations. We're obviously doing our standard, allocation, savings checks, going back to all your goals, your retirement-based goals. But it could be, as small as that is like, hey, I want to chip away at this debt I had, or I want to save, I want to have $5,000 saved more for my kids' education, things like that. But it's continued. It's always one thing I think we pride ourselves on is being client specific, and just having that conversation. So we're doing a lot of that. There's a lot of things going on, tax time, things there. It kind of pertains on the year and when you're meeting with that client. But it's really relevant to the conversation we're
having the conversations. And I want to add this too, is everyone gets so excited in the beginning of the year to look at everything. You have these goals. You're like, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And then it's good to review it. But because life all of a sudden will blink and it'll go by. And you kind of have a story too. A client called you. And this is kind of what happens I'm not saying happens when you don't pay attention, but stuff sneaks up on you, like retiring.
Yeah. So we typically do annual reviews with people. Now some people we check in with more frequently. So when we're saying the quarterly review, we don't
annual review, semi-annual. Yep.
Yeah. So just wanted to clarify that. But yeah, I had a client that I thought was retiring in January, and I called her last, I believe it was November, and just, hey, I wanted to just check in with you. I know retirement's coming up. She's like, oh, yeah, I retired in May. And I was like, okay.
And you're like, I kind of need to know.
And then, after a slight pause and kind of some laughing, I said, don't you think your retirement planner should know that? And she was like, yeah, I was going to tell you. I just kind of, forgot and been on vacation and stuff like that. So we laughed about it, but communication is the key with your retirement planner.
But that's a great thing I was going to say, because you reached out. There was some reason you reached out and you had that conversation, and now there's probably some action that's going to happen after that, where if you didn't reach out, say it was 6 more months down the road, and then, maybe
and you lose
something,
out on some opportunities.
Yeah, or compound, and maybe there's a problem, or we don't have the tax situation set up, something there, so it's great. It forces you to have some of those conversations.
Well, and I think we talk about this a lot, that don't go at retirement alone. And there were some things, and I asked her some questions, and she's like, oh yeah, I didn't do that. Oh yeah, I didn't do that. I'm just like, well, we need to, get those things tidied up now that you've retired. We've got to file for Medicare. We've got to roll over your 401k. We got to get these things taken care of. and not that she did totally anything wrong. I mean, everything can be taken care of, but there are some timing issues with some certain things that if you don't know or don't follow those, there could be some consequences. So, we got everything taken care of, but it was just kind of a surprise. I was just like preparing to have the retirement conversation, and it was already had to happen 6 months earlier. So.
Well, it goes back to being proactive, and it's you kind of don't, especially with finances, being reactive versus proactive, and that's the same thing with goals. And when I say quarterly review, we're not meeting with you, but just checking in. Like, am I saving enough? What's my cash flow look like? And everyone's different if you're in the accumulation phase or the retirement phase, but that's a great example of retiring. Like, there's certain steps, and it takes time and to get that all organized.
Yeah, the last year of your retirement, I typically am going to meet with you probably 3 or 4 times, just because hopefully you only retire once. Hopefully you only elect Social Security once. Hopefully you only do all these things one time, and we want to make sure we get it right the first time. We don't want to have to go back and try to fix things. So we're gonna, especially that year and maybe even 2 years out from retirement, we're gonna want to meet with you pretty frequently just to make sure also that we're on track, because we don't want to screw it up for you either. So that's a big year or two that we'd like to meet with you for sure.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital.
Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market.
Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.
That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026, or visit our website www.spinmarket.com.
All right, let's hear some dollars and cents.
Dollar bills, y'all.
You guys are getting really good at that, by the way. That was like boom, 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 perfect time. Sorry. Yeah.
We're professionals.
Yeah,
here.
I was sitting here listening. I was kind of like, oh, that's awesome.
I thought Cold P might give a little pit bull tone on that.
Fireball.
Yeah. Dollars.
All right, missing money.
Ooh.
Here's our dollars and cents today. The National Association of Unclaimed Property Administrators estimates there's $70 billion in unclaimed assets across U.S. state treasuries. That's a lot of money. Yeah. They're this stat I'm reading. They average 1 in 7 Americans have unclaimed property that's unclaimed.
What does
Hopefully,
that mean?
just 1 billion of that is mine.
Yeah.
No. I looked at I'm going to give you a website here at the end for a little actionable item, but
we can put that in the show notes.
I looked my name up. Nothing. I don't have any unclaimed property.
I know. I know where my money is.
So it's about 1 in 7. Like I said, about 1 in 7 Americans have unclaimed assets that range from, it could be dormant bank accounts to, unclaimed life insurance benefits. I think one of you guys talked about
lost 401ks. Like a lot of young
401ks.
people have 401ks and they switch jobs and forget.
So to check this, to see, you can go to, there's a website. It's missingmoney.com. That's it. Missingmoney.com. You can type in your last name, a state, or just type in your last name. Now, if you have a, Peterson, there's probably a lot of Petersons.
You don't have to put like your social security number or anything like that.
Nothing. And it's by state, and it'll even have your name. Like I saw some of my relatives on there, and then it has an asset amount. Obviously, if it's a large asset, it doesn't disclose. It says undisclosed on there, so you can see. But if it's like a petty cash amount, say it's like $25, or I saw a lot of like PayPal or things where someone probably had a closed account or a closed bank account and stuff. But yeah, interesting.
Did you let your family know?
No, I haven't yet. I started, typing my family in. I did a bunch just to see. I was like, just in case, and I want to be the hero here.
We will,
right?
And we'll put the website address in the description of this episode, so you guys can go click on it and go check for yourself.
But I do think that ties in. We, as just Americans, we live a very, very busy life, and I think it's so easy to not review, not check in with yourself, and lose some stuff along the way. But that's an interesting stat.
How often have you had that of like, oh, I know I have an account somewhere, but I can't even.
Then sometimes it takes us months to find it. Yeah.
We're calling numbers.
It's like if you don't have a statement or what company it's at, I mean, you can call your old HR department and they're probably going to know where it's at, but I'm talking about 401k specifically. But if you don't have a statement or have an idea of where it's at, it's impossible for us to find. I guess I could probably start going on this website when people do say that and typing their name in and see if they do have any.
I wonder how many unclaimed life insurance benefits.
I bet there's a lot.
Probably a lot.
Just because one, they don't have the beneficiaries the way I want them, or the correct contact information,
or someone didn't settle an estate correctly, or they didn't have a will, and it just is still at the insurance company.
Well, but typically when you fill out the beneficiary information, you give them their address and phone numbers and stuff, and that stuff changes obviously. So if they send the death claim packet out after they get the death reported from wherever, that might go to the wrong address.
That's what I'm saying. And then they don't even know about it.
Someone doesn't even know.
That old school, there's a lot of people old school too. They don't even tell their family what's coming down the pipe.
So we're making sure having that, that organizational drawer with all your life insurance policies, and then
safety box.
Your Cole Peterson's, business card in there, knowing that Cole handles my finances, so you can call in that conversation.
100%. All right, good money, dollars and cents. Okay, so we've done the quarterly review. We've reviewed ourselves personally. Okay, what are some top questions you guys are hearing right now in the first quarter from clients?
Yeah, so Cole and I were kind of, I guess us as a group, we were spitballing on what the content for this podcast would be, and we're like, well, let's talk about what our clients are asking us, and what are some of the most common topics, and I think one of the points that are out there are key topics, things that are on the news, government, however it might be, is Social Security, right? Cole, how often do you get that question?
Social Security, almost every meeting, because people are worried about what's going on in Congress.
Will I get Social Security?
Is it going to be there for me?
Yep. Will I have something there?
What's going to happen with Social Security? And right now, basically everything is quote unquote fine until about the year 2033 or 2034 with no changes. If Congress makes absolutely no changes, everything will be fine until 2033 and 2034. Now, in 2033, if Congress has made absolutely zero changes, does that mean your Social Security will go away? No. Your Social Security will not disappear. If you have not claimed your Social Security, if you're like me, Cole's age, and have not claimed it, or is your Social Security benefit going to go away completely? No. What it means is in 2033 or 2034, Social Security does not have enough money to pay out their liabilities. They become what's called solvent. And what that means is they're going to be able to pay out about 75% of everybody's benefit. So if you were collecting $1,000 from Social Security in 2033, if they haven't made any changes, it'll go down to $750. Now, also along with that, are they going to let it get that far? I do not think so.
That's what I was just going to say. I don't want people to freak out because I was just, as you were talking, I was like, what are two things that they could do? First and foremost, and this might cause an uproar, but they could just change the date of the full retirement age. A lot of people, depending on your age when you're born, you have a stated full retirement age. They could bump that up a year, and that could change the whole system. Or they could say people that you make there's a max wage that you have to pay into Social Security. They could just bump that up to where I think it's like $150,000 or something like that. I don't know the number exactly, but they could make people that make up to $200, you have to pay Social Security tax on all that, all the way up to that where it's capped out. There's a lot of minor things. Now, to some people, it might feel like a big thing, but there are a lot of things. It's just a matter of getting, unfortunately, getting our government to agree on something to try to fix the system. I know.
No way.
So. As you know, the government typically waits till the last minute to make these changes. And I believe it was in 1981 or 82, Social Security actually borrowed like $10 million from Medicare when they had to make the first set of changes. So the retirement age used to be 65 for everybody. They bumped it up to 67 during that year, and they had to borrow a bunch of money from Medicare. This used to be part of my Social Security seminar when I was a principal. I used to know all the numbers, and I feel like I'm talking really fast right now. But anyway,
you're talking like me. I like it.
Yeah. So they will make adjustments. I can't guarantee that, but they will make adjustments to hopefully push that date out farther. The change that you're talking about, where they lift the lid of that maximum. So if you say you make $300,000 a year, your first $150,000 is you pay into Social Security. The next $150,000 you don't. Which most people don't know that. That other $150,000, you don't pay any Social Security or Medicare tax.
There's a lot of things they could do.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So even if they lift that lid, like you said, to $300, I think the stat I gave, if they lifted it to the highest tax bracket, which at that time was like $450, that it would now extend out to $2,080.
Yeah.
So it was like they need to just make a minor change to really get this thing out, but they probably are going to change the full retirement age.
Yep.
Most likely, or right now, the full retirement age is 67. They won't change it on me. I know I'm older than you guys. They probably won't change it on you, but they will change it on anybody under the age of, say, like 30. So Caleb, who doesn't really...
You're working forever, Caleb.
Right. Your generation...
Lovely.
Lowest voting percentage, they will change it on you, and they will change it to probably 70 because by the time your life expectancy will be a lot longer. So
yeah, they're going to live way longer.
Yeah, so they will change those things, and they'll make it gradual, and they'll do all the stuff that they did before. But the big thing is lifting the lid or increasing that amount, and that'll really help out.
You're going to make my point here, though. I mean, we're talking about all these variables of let's not rely on Social Security as your only retirement-based asset, right? That's what we don't want to do. Yes, we love it if it's there and it's a supplement, but it's there as a supplement, not as your, it's obviously most people's benefits are anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500, in our area, and that could change, obviously, but that's not enough to live on. So let's not have to worry about whether Social Security has money to pay me out or not. Let's make sure we're saving the assets. Have a plan.
That's a great point. Don't trust the government to save you.
Yep.
Yeah. So after our clients ask the question and we kind of go through this conversation, we say, okay, but yeah, we're expecting Social Security to be there. We want it to be part of your retirement, but it can't be your, all of your retirement. And most of the clients that are coming to us don't think that that's going to be their whole retirement anyway. But the Social Security was never designed to be a retirement plan.
Yep.
It was designed to be a pension plan, which is supposed to not make up for, it was only intended to make up for 25 to 40% of your earnings. So that's what it should do. So it's something that should supplement your retirement. And we feel like it will continue to supplement people's retirement going forward. And it's definitely a conversation that we have with people.
All right. Hot question 2. We're getting cold jasky. The difference between capital gains and versus ordinary income.
Yeah,
just tax season.
Yeah, taxation, right? We're in that taxation where people now, they got those 1099s or the 1099Rs at the end of the year, and they're giving their tax time, and now they're having to figure out what they paid in taxes or why we're paying more than I did last year or whatever it might be. So just a brief education here. There's 2 really ways of taxation, and I'm going to talk specifically to investment accounts like we would, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, retirement accounts. There's ordinary income, which is just, you have a wage, you pay your stated tax bracket based on how much money you've earned that year and your filing status and so on and so forth. And then there's capital gains. And those are 2 completely different rates. And that's what I want, people to understand, because a lot of times they're like, oh, I'm paying a lot of taxes, and they don't quite understand the difference. And really a capital gain comes in is when you hold an asset for over a year and you sell it for a gain. And capital gains, the max rate anyone can pay is 20%. And that's if you're making over $400,000 a year in income. Majority of Americans pay 15 or less. And a lot of people that are in retirement have very low incomes could actually pay 0 on federal. I'm talking federal capital gains. State laws, state tax laws are different based on the state you live in. So talk to your local, local tax advisor there. That's a big difference. So that's where, for example, one reason why I like to talk about this, clients, is the taxation of dividends. I'm a huge dividend person, or think of like income stream. Dividends, if they're considered qualified, and I'm not going to go into what's considered qualified, non-qualified dividends, but if they're considered, which majority of them are, if you own a U.S. stock that pays a dividend, it is taxed at the capital gains rate, not ordinary income, which for someone in retirement could equal 0 taxation if it's below a certain threshold, versus if that's considered earned income, you're probably paying 10-15% minimum on that. So that's important to know what you have, right, and understand the different types of taxation. And that's where, again, we kind of always circle back to having that conversation. That's why it's important, because there are ways to make money and really keep your tax bill. Yeah, strategies to keep your tax bill relatively low.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know the difference. I think they just get their taxes and they're like, eh.
Well, I get that a lot on the other side too, that people think that IRA distributions are taxed at capital gains rate, which they're not. They're taxed at ordinary income. So if you make $100,000 and you take $20,000 from your IRA, that $20,000 is going to be taxed at the rate of between 100 and 120,000.
It's taxed at the top rate too. That's where people make this mistake. When you take an IRA distribution and you're still working, still have an earned wage, it's not taxed at the lowest rate. It's taxed at your very top. So if you're creeping into the 22% bracket, and you take $20,000 out, you're paying 22% on all that money, not, the first.
That's a really valid point, because we have people do that
a lot. And that's a huge thing. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that.
I wouldn't have taken that much money.
Yes. So drives me nuts. That's one thing.
Type A people, no way. All right, here's the last question. We went through top 3 we're kind of getting right now. So here's another one we got. Should I be paying down my debt more or investing more?
What interest rate do you have your debt at?
My house is at 2.34. That's the only debt I got right now. So I'm just
okay. So there's, and when I have this
That'd
conversation,
be a good debt, by the way.
When I have this conversation, I
talk
to clients about what is good debt, what is bad debt.
Yep.
That is really what I talk to them about. Good debt, house debt, car debt under 5%, let's just say, zero interest loans from homemakers, something like that. That's good debt. So you don't necessarily need to pay that off. You can pay it off a little bit quicker than normal, but you don't necessarily need to make that the focus of what you're doing with your money. Bad debt, obviously credit cards, high interest, loans.
Most credit cards are north of 18%
it's
right
wild.
now. Yeah. So, and we're seeing the consumer spending data and debt data for consumers skyrocket. So that's a concerning thing, because those interest rates are not cheap and they're variable, right? Versus your fixed.
Explain that.
Yeah. Variable rate, like credit card debt. Credit cards can adjust monthly.
I don't think people know that.
Yeah. And so if interest rates skyrocketed here the last 9 months, we've gone from the Fed funds rate to basically nothing to, what it is, 4.5%, whatever it is. For example, those credit card companies are setting, they're what they're lending that money out or letting you use on that credit card debt based on the Fed funds rate or based on, interest rates as a whole, depending on how they're structured. And those can adjust monthly. So if rates have gone up, and we've seen rates historically, the pace they've moved the last 12 months is a historic amount. So people are seeing that and paying a significant portion of interest rate on their credit card.
I don't know the statistics, but I know it's jumped up a lot how much credit card debt people are carrying over since COVID. And
I think a lot of people accumulated it during COVID because they were online shopping or bored or whatever. But
all of the above.
That's a good point too. I was again, I always feel like I'm preaching. I don't want to come across that way, but it's like those decisions of like putting something on a credit card, like is it necessary or discretionary, right? Like right now we're in that period where things are a little tighter. I think we can see like inflation's catching up with people, saving rates are going down, wants and needs, and that's an important thing. Do I need to have that credit card balance for this next 6 months, knowing that, hey, Christmas, I got to have money saved for Christmas. So making sure having those conversations and thinking before you're just hitting the button. It's so easy just to say Apple Pay and double click and you got it at your house 2 days.
We're in a spending world. But I see now you can like buy stuff on, everything isn't on a stall payment.
Yeah.
Like you could buy clothes, like $100 dress, and you can pay $25. I'm like, wow.
Apple like kind of makes you do a lot of their like Apple watches and stuff. They want you to be on like the installment payments with Apple. It's crazy. Yeah. They're trying to get everyone to just the recurring revenue, or just like Netflix, $12 a month.
And I'm going to tie this back to the beginning. Again, just reviewing yourself. Like obviously financial advisors are so important, but to just keep checking in on yourself. Like, how much money am I making? Is my income going up? Is it going down? How much what is my goal? Do I want to be investing 15% a year or whatever it may be? And that can also direct you. Should I be paying this debt off? Or are we worried right now? Do we have our emergency fund saved? There's so many variables into it.
Yeah, if you're going to come and ask a financial advisor what I should do as far as paying off debt or investing versus investing, we're typically always going to tell you to diversify that. Do a little bit of both, but at the same time, know what interest rate you're paying, and that's a simple look online or phone call to figure out what interest rate you're paying, because that's I wouldn't say it's a frustrating thing, but when I ask people what interest rate and they don't know, it's like, well, I can't give you give you advice if I don't know what interest rate you're paying. So a lot of times they'll have to leave that meeting, go make those calls, and get that information back to me, and then we can make a better judgment on what we should do.
Mm-hmm. And we were this isn't so much interest rates, but me and Cole J and actually Eddie were talking about this too. Negotiating bills. Like, I don't think people understand this. We were talking about medical bills, and you had a family member who had a huge medical bill, was just paying off a little at a time, and just maybe sitting through right now and organizing. Okay, you can call some of these places, and
a lot of the credit card companies.
Yes, that's what I think.
You can do some things where you can you can lock in a rate where it's like, hey, I'm not going to use the card anymore. They feel like they're not going to get paid back the full balance if they don't. The credit card company always says so. you can do some things where you can call and and there is some negotiation there. And obviously they're not gonna be like, just, hey, wipe my debt clean. Let me restart from scratch. But there are things to do, and that's it takes the initiative. You got to go out and do that, or talk to Cole. I'm giving Cole all kinds of shout outs today, but go talk to Cole P.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, that was great. That was the 3 things we're hearing right now. I will be checking in again with you guys and your goals. Don't think I'm going to let you off the hook.
Love the accountability.
Yeah, and it's good to have accountability with a financial advisor or just someone you can talk to. I think this too. Talk to your spouse. Be a team on the finance front end. And like Caleb said, go subscribe, share the podcast. And this is for the golfers in the room because it's golf season, baby. The more I work and practice, the luckier I seem to get. Gary Player.
Go Cubs.
You've been listening to How to Money with Cole and Cole, the podcast of the Central Financial Group, courtesy of Spin Market. To learn more, visit their website at www.centralfinancialgroup.com and follow them on all their social media platforms.
For now, I'm Cole.
And I'm Cole.
And we'll see you on the greens.
4.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associations Incorporated, member FINRA, SIPC. Royal Alliance Associations Incorporated is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associations Incorporated. Material discussed is meant for general informational purposes only, and it is not to be construed as tax, legal, or investment advice. Please note that individual situations can vary. Therefore, the information should be relied upon when coordinated with individual professional advice. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Diversification does not insure against loss. Any guarantees discussed refer only to fixed insurance products and are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.